Hello and welcome to Balling About, the show where we interview some sporting legends. And this week we've got ex-England pool player Paul Cox in the studio, everyone. But first, let me introduce my team fellow players Vladimir and Jake to the studio.
Yes, thank you, Freddie. And on today's show, we've got some very exciting questions to ask Paul, and also a big surprise in hand later on.
Paul, first of all, to kick the show off, when and how did you start playing pool?
I started playing way back in the 80s in my parents' bedroom on a 6x3 table, usually against my granddad. Back then, snooker was huge. It was on the telly, you know, much more than it is now, and there was less TV channels and so on. But that's how I started.
Did he used to be a good player himself?
Not bad. I mean, I look back now and I probably won every game, but looking back when you're older, you realise that he was probably losing deliberately to me to start with, but I got better as it went on.
So what would you say are the steps of becoming a professional pool player in the industry?
To become a professional, I would say you need to first start playing for a team, a local team, a pub or a club, plenty of practice, and then build your way up to playing for your county, local county team. And then from there, if you do well at county, you finish in your top 8 in your region, you then qualify or get invited to trial for your country and so on. And they're the steps. There's also a professional tour that you can enter, but you have to qualify for it.
Well, I'm trying to get better, but at the moment it's just pub teams for me, and it's not going well. We're bottom of the league, my team.
Yeah, Paul, when did you win your first recognized tournament? Because pool is usually a pub game, so you only play in teams or alongside friends. But in a tournament, it's very different. How is the feeling of winning a tournament?
Winning a tournament, it's the first one I remember that really meant anything to me. It's all about winning in front of a lot of people, because the pressure of playing in front of a lot of people is different to playing in front of one man and his dog sort of thing down the pub. And most tournaments I entered to start with were league run tournaments that started out in a pub, and then you'd make your way through to the final, and then you play the final usually on a presentation night in front of all your fellow players, etc.
So have you won quite a lot of trophies over the years since you started playing?
Paul, they seem to give out trophies for all sorts. Trust me, you can win little trophies all the time. You know, looking back, I'm a bit older now. Looking back, there's probably only a handful that really mean anything to me. But you know, league trophies and that sort of thing, you can easily pick up.
So I bet they're just dust collectors to you now, shoved in attic.
To be honest, I gave most of mine away to a school, I think, because they take the engraving off, and then they can use them for anything as long as there's not a snooker player on the top or a pool player actually on the trophy, you know.
Fair enough.
Well, I bet you've had quite a few embarrassing moments over the years you've been playing. What's your most embarrassing?
Most embarrassing? I've played in a waistcoat for England. They take your measurement and they have a waistcoat made for you. And when I got to the match, I couldn't get the waistcoat before I reached the match. And when I got there, I'd either put on weight. It might have been around Christmas, but I could barely breathe, and I had to play the whole match in a waistcoat. I thought it was going to split at any time.
It didn't, did it?
It didn't split. It didn't split.
Fly off somewhere.
I can't remember. I'm trying to think whether I did very well or not, but I'll blame it on the waistcoat.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, we've got quite another embarrassing moment for you, because we've got a little surprise for you, haven't we?
Should I get it out?
Got it still.
Get it out, Vlad.
Grab it.
Okay, Paul.
Now we all know that size doesn't matter, Paul, does it, when it comes to the game? So you should have no problem here.
Yeah, you should be able to handle these. Yeah. So
Like
the game is you and Jake both have 30 seconds to put as many balls in as you can.
This should be interesting.
30 seconds. We'll have to cheat.
I want to know.
So
We might
you
have
start,
to
Paul.
cheat.
I'm
3,
dressed for it. I am
2,
dressed for
1,
it.
Here we go.
Paul. Okay.
Oh, crikey.
Paul, Jake,
I
go
need
for
some
Jake.
practice.
My 6-year-old would like this.
Oh, Jake got the right one.
That's just,
Oh, the score's not looking good.
Come on.
Your balls are finally dropped. Come on. Oh,
Okay, one more.
more.
Bit of a high voice going on there now, isn't there?
well,
Right, let's put that away. Save the embarrassment.
Yeah.
shall we?
Okay,
Thank
this
you, Paul.
is gonna be your
There we
prize.
go. Come on, give it a round
you.
of applause.
Thank
Come on.
you
It's
Take your
all
card.
fair credit.
we'll give it up as a bad job, Paul.
Yep.
Yeah,
My
Get
6-year-old
back
will
to
like
the
that.
other table.
you'll love it. There we go. Hopefully getting much fun now. But now back to the big tables. I've heard that you've won the region for the intercounty last month, and this must be a massive feeling for you. So was
It won't mean anything to anyone here, but it's not me. It's a team event.
Right.
It's your county team, which is 11 players. I've played county for about 20 years for Bedfordshire. We used to play out of a club just round the corner from the studio. And the county, Bedfordshire County's been going about 30, 35, 38 years. And in that time, Bedfordshire has never won the men's against Essex and Cambridgeshire, Suffolk, etc. as
Never,
a team,
not one.
as a table top. And this year we finally won it, so we finally,
Wow.
so
Congratulations
There
for
we go.
that.
Congrats, guys.
Congratulations for that.
I bet that was a proud moment.
It was as captain of the team and team manager. It meant more to me than playing for England and so on. Was winning that after 20 years
Well,
of
it's
trying.
obvious you've
you
had
know.
much success with pool over the years, but why did you choose pool and not snooker? Because there's much bigger prize money in that sport.
I started off
question.
playing snooker. I did start off playing snooker, and I've got a 96 break when I was about 20.
So nearly
which
a
wasn't
century.
Nearly a century. Yeah, I cleared up, so I didn't miss a ball. So that would have hurt.
Well, you
but,
got the win.
that's right.
all that counts.
My eyesight is about the length of a pool table, which is sort of 8x4, and a snooker table is 12x6, and I can't see that far. So
There's a big difference there.
it is a big difference. So that suits me down to the ground of the table.
Yeah. Paul, I want to ask you an interesting question. I think everybody is asking that. How much does it cost to be a professional pool player? Because obviously you have to pay for your cue, maybe other equipments we don't know. Tell us about that.
To be honest, there's no excuse for anyone not to get involved. When you first start, you buy a cue for a tenner, £20, and so on. And then as you get better, you can get one handmade up to about £300 or £500. But the cost of getting started is very low. If you want to be a professional, you have to qualify for a tour and then pay to go on the tour, and then obviously you anticipate winning more money than you pay out.
Okay.
But if you compare it to games like golf, where you've got to buy a set of clubs and that, it's extremely cheap.
Yeah.
Were you lucky enough to get a sponsor though, like anybody?
I've been sponsored when I played for England. Riley sponsored me, which is pool club. Used to be across the country. I think they're no longer around, but they used to sponsor me. But there's not huge amounts of money in English pool. The money is more in the American game.
Do you think, Paul, that playing pool as a professional player has changed your life? If you wouldn't have played pool, would you have been the same person?
I would say it's very much changed my life. I met my wife in a pool hall.
Oh,
She plays for the county ladies team.
Oh, wow.
And we met at Riley's, and my son's called Riley. So I
There
would
we
say
go.
Wow.
I would say it has influenced my life. Yes,
Yeah,
very much
do
so.
better, yeah.
Very much so.
So would you say that you have any other interests outside of playing pool, if you're playing a lot of it?
Personally, I like playing poker. I used to play poker for a living before I had commitments with a wife and kiddie.
Yeah.
And you'll find a lot of pool tournaments, the same environment. You get poker games going on around there, especially many years ago in a smoke-filled pool hall. You'd have a game of cards going over in the corner, etc. They are similar sports or games, depends how you look at it, because to me it's all about probability and percentage, and whether you make that shot or whether you're going to hit that card, etc. So it's all to do, it's very maths related, I think.
Well, have you got any guidance for the other youngsters coming through now for pool?
I would say if you're a youngster, you can't practice enough. And most people, I do some coaching for youth players and ladies, and when they have certain aspects of the game they can't do, or they're not very good at bridging over a ball,
okay.
etc., they tend to ignore it. Whereas to improve, you should be practicing that all the time.
Yeah.
I remember watching years ago Quinton Han, who was a very professional snooker player. I remember watching him play pool because he was pool world champion, and he practiced doubling the ball for about an hour. And
Well,
I
that's-
So he was
asked him.
quite a good player.
He was a fantastic player. He was
Well,
world
Paul,
champion.
we're running out of time, but
Okay.
you managed to give us a lot of interesting information. How to get into pool, how to some tips along the side, how to get the promotions and stuff like that. Thank you very much.
Well, it's
Thank
that
you, Paul.
time again. The ball has indeed stopped rolling.
Yeah.
So a big thanks to Paul, a
Thank
big
you.
thanks to the public. But first, we're not going to let you go empty-handed.
Oh no.
You're going to get our little friend to take home with you.
There you
There
go.
you
Give it up for him. Thank you,
Thanks very
Paul.
much. Cheers, fellas.
Thank you.
Just a tip, get some practice. But for this week, it's goodbye.
Thank you. And goodbye, everyone. Thank you.